I had a client swing kettlebells 4 times a week for 2 months. Sweating, sore, exhausted every single session. Her glutes looked exactly the same as day one. Meanwhile, her friend did one exercise twice a week and grew more muscle in 6 weeks than she did in 2 months. Today, I'm going to show you exactly why that happened, and it's going to change how you train your entire posterior chain. Most people think kettlebell swings and Romanian deadlifts are basically the same movement. Same hip hinge, same muscles, so why not just pick whichever one you enjoy more? Here's the problem with that logic. It's completely wrong. And if you've been choosing swings because they burn more, you've been leaving muscle on the table. Let me tell you about this client. She came to me wanting bigger glutes and hamstrings. She'd seen a fitness influencer online doing kettlebell swings, sweating buckets, captioned best glute builder ever. So that's what she did. For sessions a week. Felt destroyed every time. 2 months later, we took progress photos. Nothing had changed. Not size, not shape. She was frustrated and honestly, a little defeated because she had worked hard. So we made one change. We swapped her swings for heavy Romanian deadlifts, twice a week, slow and controlled. 6 weeks later, visible growth in her hamstrings and glutes. Same effort, same dedication, completely different result. What happened here isn't about effort. It's about a fundamental difference in how these two exercises actually work on a muscular level. Let me break it down. Here's the one concept that explains everything. Muscle growth is driven by time under mechanical tension, how long your muscle fibers are under a heavy, controlled load. Not how tired you feel, not how much you sweat, not your heart rate. A kettlebell swing is a ballistic movement. That means momentum, not your muscles, is doing a huge part of the work once the kettlebell is moving. Your hips snap open fast for a fraction of a second, and then the weight is basically flying on its own. Great for training explosive power. Terrible for building size, because your hamstrings and glutes are barely under real tension. A Romanian deadlift is the opposite. You control a heavy weight through a slow, deep stretch, then squeeze it back up under total control. Every single second of that rep, your hamstrings and glutes are working. That's why you can load an RDL with 2 to 3 times more weight than you'd ever safely swing, because it's controlled, not ballistic. That's the whole answer. Swings train speed and power output. RDLs train size. Now, before the kettlebell fans in the comments come for me, swings are not useless. They're actually one of the best tools that exist for something else entirely. Explosive power, conditioning, and posterior chain endurance. Athletes use swings to train the hips to fire fast, and that transfers directly to sprinting, jumping, and change of direction. If you're an athlete, or you want a brutal conditioning finisher, swings are elite. But if your goal is written on a t-shirt that says bigger glutes or bigger hamstrings, swings alone will not get you there. That's not opinion. That's just how muscle tissue responds to load. So here's the actual verdict. If muscle growth is your #1 goal, Romanian deadlifts win, and it's not close. Heavier load, longer tension, more control. That's the hypertrophy formula. But the smartest programs don't pick one. They use both for different jobs. RDLs as your main heavy lift, twice a week, for size. Kettlebell swings as a conditioning finisher or a power primer, for speed and posterior chain endurance. That's exactly what we changed for my client. We didn't remove swings completely, we just stopped asking them to do a job they were never built for. If you've been swinging kettlebells hoping for bigger glutes, and wondering why nothing's changing, now you know why. Try this. 2 heavy RDL sessions a week, for 6 weeks, and watch what happens. Comment below and tell me what you notice. And if you want the exact program I gave my client, it's linked below. Subscribe so you don't miss it.